Hi, guys. Welcome to the Power Network. I'm Amy. And welcome back to Weird Watts Wednesday. We've got a full on Watts Watch party lined up. We've got a few things to unpack about the Smexy Empanada mistress. And then for perfect fall vibes, my favorite Bigfoot creator, Bob Gymlan, Gilman just dropped a new video digging into the haunted Watts house. And guess what? Chris Watts is now claiming he's been forgiven by God because his prison pen pal told him so. All that and more across the Weird Watts Web. I'm rolling credits while the rest of the Watts Island crowd boats on over. Guess what? We've got merch. We've got merch. My little Dragonflies and Power Crew. Can you tell I'm excited?
Carefully strumming his old guitar again. Words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Hearing the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
Here in the essence of gratitude, I am so happy to be back here with my Power Crew. I'm really off this week because of the holiday. Is anyone else? I'm like having a hard time. I missed an interview yesterday and I forgot it was Weird Watts Wednesday. So I put something together for you guys. It's just going to be really laid back because I am in a mini flare and I'm coming out of it, but I'm kind of having one of those days where my head feels like it's in the clouds. So my words are kind of weird too. So you're going to see what a flare looks like. But it's like I'm coming out of it too. And I need to do something, or because I'm getting depressed if I lay around for too long. Those with autoimmunes know what I'm talking about. If you lay around for too long, then the depression starts setting in and, you start thinking, am I worthy of even whatever, like a good life, and how, those kind of things start happening. So I'm trying to push through it. And so bear with me today, but I'm really excited because there's a lot of good things happening. We have this new thing that I am going to be trying out. It's called Strange Highways, and I'm going to be telling a story on the road. We're going to be going to paranormal and true crime locations and kind of telling the story. So we've started filming a brand new one on the Power Network, and so I've always wanted to hit the road, so we're going to be traveling straight into the places where true crime unfolded or where the paranormal still lingers, and every stop has a story and some never rest. And so we're currently filming one around where I live in Florida. And so I'm excited about that. We've got that coming up. And and we've got merch. And I wanted to show you some of the merch before we get into today's case, if you will allow me to just pop it up for you. Well, actually, you know what? I'll show you the merch at the end because we also have a sponsor today. And let's talk about our sponsor for today. Hold on a second. I don't know. There we go. We have Wild Deodorant as our sponsor, and it's officially September, which means it's fall for I consider September fall. I know it's not fall truly on the calendar till the end of September, but I don't know. As soon as September hits, I'm like, yes, it's fall. Thank you. I love fall. It's my favorite time of year. But the weather's shifting, which means the morning and nights are cool enough for layers, but the days are still blazing. And that means there's plenty of time to sweat. And that's where my Wild deodorant saves me. Fresh, sustainable, and refillable. But don't let that fool you. Wild is a tough little cookie because I'm a tough little sweater. And just like my power crew, you're all tough. And I think you're going to love this. So you can grab yours at shopwildrefill.com/parawomen. And don't forget to use your code parawomen for 20% off your first purchase. And thank you to Wild for supporting us. So let's get right into it. Let me get my stage together, or share my screen, I mean. And we'll start. Okay. I don't know. I switched up my layout and it's not adding. It doesn't. Let's just remove the intro because it keeps wanting to put the intro up instead of my screen. Okay. All right. So let's jump right into, I saw on News Nation, it looks like Chris Watts is saying that God has forgiven him in prison, and there's letters, and the prison pen pal is telling him this. Let me say hi to everybody in chat too, really quick. I see people are coming in. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Drew K. I don't know how to say this. I think it's the Fifers. So I'm going to guess. Hi, Fifers. Hi, everybody hanging out in the outer regions. Today we're coming to you on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Be sure to show us love on the platform that you're viewing us on. Just, it's a free way to help us out, and it's really appreciated. So what do you think about Chris Watts saying that God has forgiven him and he's got prison pen pal letters to prove it? Do you think it's Lizzie Lee? I actually haven't watched all of this yet, so let's watch this together. So how we do this is everything that we watch, I will put down in the YouTube show notes. We do this to cite our sources and for fair play use, and I'll often talk over it or stop and start it. And so if you want to watch it, it's in its entirety, or read anything in its entirety, you can find the stuff there.
In his prison letters to his twisted fans, he writes, and let me quote him, God has forgiven. God has separated me from my sin as far as the east is from the west. The hard part, he says, was forgiving himself. But there's good news on that front, too.
Okay, I'm going to call shenanigans on that because I feel like he forgave himself from the moment he did it. You know, he quickly found, sorry, I'm very opinionated about this today too. He found God quickly, didn't he? He just, like, as soon as he got into prison or jail, he found that jail, what is it? I think it's called jail religion. And he found it quick. And jail religion is something, because I used to go into the jails. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm an ex-social worker, and I was working for my CAC, and part of it was going into jails, and I was an intake worker too. So I would go in and do intakes, and the jail religion is something. It's kind of like, it's like kind of Pentecostal, but not. It's just like kind of that kind of intensity, and maybe I don't want to put down Pentecostal because it's not even that, but it's very intense.
Because Watts writes, I am finally at peace. Good for you. Joined now by the reporter who obtained these gems exclusively. Steve Helling is the U.S. senior reporter for the Daily Mail. You always get the goods, my friend. It's just so cringe, isn't it, reading his words?
I mean, we've read his words before, and he doesn't change his tune. It's just always just a little bit different than the last time, but it's the same song. God has forgiven me. I've forgiven myself. It's not my fault. The girls made me do it. There's always something.
It's similar. I wonder if, because you know how we like to watch a lot of prison stuff over here on the Power Network, and a lot of the people that have gone to prison, or even Cowboy RC has said that, they're going to make him keep his story alive because this is how he gets paid. And he's probably having to pay people off and, stuff like that. And I wonder if this is just another way that he's keeping himself paid and in the news.
Thing that he likes to say.
Yeah, he loves to suggest that he's in good standing. Let me read some of the Bible verse that he uses to justify his thinking. He says this: I am a new man. I am not the person who committed those horrible acts. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, if any man be in, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. That's me. I'm a new creature. I'll agree with him there. He is a creature. Your thoughts about just the...
That makes me want to throw up. I am a new man. Let me take off. I am a new man. I am not the person who committed those horrible acts. Says, if any man be a Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become anew. That's me. I'm a new creature. God, he's a creature, all right. He's a monster. And, I just have a real problem with this. And I know I don't follow the Christian faith, but I believe there's roads that get you to God, and it's one of those people use Christianity as one of those roads. And I like to believe that I just think Chris Watts is done for this life. I don't think he can redeem himself. I just think, I don't know. Maybe I'm just done with Chris Watts, and I don't know. I can't see how he can do anything beautiful in this world, especially by these coming. It's too soon. It's too soon to come out with this stuff. If you're going to come out with this, you need to do all this good stuff and not say anything about it in the hopes that it gets recognized. And then maybe 50 years down the road, come out with this. It's just too soon for me. Am I alone? Let me pop over into chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. He's crazy. Yes, he's crazy. Amy Power, do you really think that CW forgave himself? I personally think CW blames others. I would love for him to have another lie detector test. Yeah, that would be nice to see if CW was under the influence when LE did test. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Moira. He probably was. I mean, I know people are like, he never tested positive, but did they test him? I don't think they tested him. I never saw anything out there that said that he was tested. And I don't think they test you at booking. I just don't. So he has to redeem himself kneeling at the feet of his maker. I don't see how he's redeeming him. Yeah, he's just trying to, I don't know. Yeah, I started early, Kim. I was ready to go, and I hate just sitting looking at the screen. When I'm ready, I'm ready. I get really bad anxiety. So I figured out that this is why I hate when people are late, because I get really bad anxiety waiting for things to start or happen. So when people, nobody was late, by the way, but I figured out why, because that's one of my pet peeves is when people are late, and I try very hard not to be late. because I get anxiety about things, and so I it was like a little light bulb moment for me. Aha, this is why I can't stand people being late. It's me. It's my anxiety. So then I sit there in extra anxiety because really I've been anxious about it, waiting for it to happen for probably 5-6 hours, and if it's really big, it's been a few days. So, and then to wait extra time is just too much for me sometimes. So anyway, that sent me on a tangent, but I've been really sick, so I haven't really spoken to anybody in a few days. So I get extra chatty when I haven't spoken to anyone in a few days too. You're almost caught up. Okay. Kim found something really interesting today, you guys. Kim, do you mind if I share with them? I'm not going to, I won't say exactly, but she was listening to a Watts content creator. And she was like, wow, this script sounds really familiar to me. And then another video sounded familiar. And this person has been taking other Watts content creators' videos and taking it, basically the video audio, and turning it into AI sound. So it's the same exact script, and then replacing the pictures, the video portion of it, and then using it as their own. So that's something that I guess we have to be on the lookout for, which is like insane to me. I think like fair play use is out there. You can use other people's content, but just add to it. You don't steal their entire video and replace the picture portion of it and then use AI over it to the same exact script. It's just crazy. But anyway, we've been talking about that just before we went live. So getting back here to Chris, he's found God and he's a new creature. Did you guys know that? Chris is a new creature. We should try to come up with the new creature he is.
It's about just the this, I don't know, profuse baloney when it comes to how God loves him.
Well, it's really a perversion of scripture, if you really want to get down to it. Yes, the Bible says that, but it doesn't mean that you don't suffer the consequences of what you did while you're here on earth. It doesn't mean that you're somehow innocent. That's not what it means. Sure, if he's sorry about it, great. But, what he's trying to say is that basically God has forgiven me. I've forgiven myself. Everything's hunky-dory. And that's just not how the world works.
Right. Here's another quote that you got from his letters in April.
Kind of like Gypsy Rose-ish. It's like, well, I did my time. I owe you nothing. I'm done. And it's kind of like what he's saying, God forgives me. So you need to forgive me too.
He said, and this is rich, I have always taken full responsibility for what I did, even though I was misled by a wicked woman. And
how is this full responsibility? There's the but here at the end. This is not full responsibility, my friend. It's not.
Referring to Nicole Kessinger, the woman he was having an affair with, who, as I recall, had no idea he was married, but saw the headlines that this guy she's dating has a family who's suddenly missing, and she went right to the police.
Right, exactly. And, he pulls, it's kind of like the Adam and Eve defense. Like when, he's like, it was the woman, she's the one who did it. Which, at one point he had even blamed Shanann for killing the girls, and then he kills her in retaliation. His story changes all the time.
Well, that story was spoon-fed to him the detective. So of course he did that.
But it's
That's the one that his parents believe to this day, sadly.
Really interesting that it's always somebody else's fault, and that somebody else is always a woman. That's what it seems to be.
I think he's right where he needs to be, but Steve Helling, you and I should just look straight into the camera and tell all the ladies out there, if you think you're having an exclusive relationship with your pen pal, Chris Watts, he's cheating on you like he cheated on his wife, and God Thank the Lord that he is locked up and that you are not.
He's got a new fiance who will hunt you down. Her and her supposedly, reportedly. This is all allegedly. This is, my opinion, my research. And we urge you to go out there and do your own and form your own opinion, because you can all have different opinions and still be welcome here. But reportedly, he's got a new fiance out there with a mother that will get you booted off of Reddit if you say the wrong thing. So don't go over to Reddit and misbehave, because Lizzie Lee will come for you.
At least going to hopefully
actually
suffer what she did. Hey, Steve Helling, good to have you. Great reporting as always. Thank you for this.
Okay, so
good to be here. Thank you.
Continuing on with that, I see over here that Amber on Amber Truth Seeker News has something new out about Chris Watts's new letter to female pen pals. So I thought we would take a look at that. I don't think we've ever, which is strange because I've heard of her before, but I don't think we've ever watched any of her content. So this will be something new for us. Again, I'll put the links for everything in the description in the YouTube description for you to watch. Has anyone watched Amber? I know that she's friends with Alex Erickson, and I like Alex a lot. So I have a feeling that this is going to be good.
Reported this week as well, just in relation to the Chris Watts case. Again, this is just my third live stream being back, my first one without panel guests. So just hit that like button, and we're trying to get back into the swing of things. So we've got some stuff planned, just always digging into the Watts case, of course, but we are also digging into the Idaho 4 Brian Koberger files. I want to go through the Karen Reed.
A lot of us Watts people are doing the Idaho. Seems to go hand in hand. I've seen a lot of Watts people covering Idaho too.
Right on the day of the anniversary, so the 13th this month. When his pregnant wife and
okay, we have actually this. We're gonna. I have this already queued up, so let's go forward and see if she's got anything else.
Were to go ahead. What an absolute.
Everybody was at Serby, but I think that she said that Chris told her where they were, but it's his word against her word.
Let me take it back to the start of when this photo comes up, and we'll watch it from there.
A shallow, basic dork, definitely. No empathy. Yeah, he just kind of mimicked. The whole Watts case was so poorly run, and things seem so shady to this day, including NK. That's very sad, is I feel we are seeing it all over again with those 4 angels in Idaho. I agree, Janessa.
I know. I wish that we could find out what happened at the survey. Oh, wait, I think this is the wrong one that I was going to pop up. But yeah, the whole Watts case was so poorly run, and things seem so shady to this day, including NK. What's very sad is I feel we are seeing it all over again with those 4 angels in Idaho. Is it the dad that they just found bones for?
I tried to have the conversation with chat and with the panel guests on over the weekend about Idaho 4, and all I kept thinking was this is the same thing that they did in the Watts case. The Watts case was there were strings being pulled by.
Oh, you mean that they're doing weird stuff. You know what I think the problem with I didn't want to start talking about the Idaho 4 case, but I will. I think the problem with the Idaho 4 case is that our justice system is very flawed, and there's shady cops in every department. And so they pull these shady routine things, and they're just not getting away with it anymore because the internet's on top of it. and some of them like the armchair detectives, some don't. And I think that they were pulling a lot of their shady shit in the Idaho 4 behind the scenes. But I think ultimately Brian Koberger is the one who did it, which makes it suck even more, because then it gives these conspiracy channels that are trying to prove that he didn't do it and that poor little Bri is innocent. I mean, you know what I mean? Does anyone get where I'm coming? Like, it drives me crazy. But I mean, I guess I was telling this lady the other day, I feel like the world, like, it's kind of like when you clean a room, everything gets messier before it gets cleaner. And I feel like that's what's happening with the world. Like, everything's just getting really messy before we just have to, figure it out and organize it. It's going to get to a point where we're going to have to figure it out.
Powerful entities in the Watts case. In my opinion, the oil company, I believe we even traced it all down.
What happened is these big companies own everything, and they've got their little greedy hands in everything, in every aspects of our lives, and our education and our pharmaceuticals and our justice. They are in everywhere, and they are buying everything off, and they have been programmed. And I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but I've been saying this I've been talking about conspiracies for a long time, and a lot of these conspiracies are becoming like commonly known now. Like, yes, it's happening, and it's just like, you've got to find a balance. You can't go over into like the total cray part of conspiracies, but some of these aren't so conspiracy anymore. And also, conspiracies aren't necessarily like, some things are debates. Some things are just debates, and people are now calling them conspiracies, and they're two different things. You guys, I'm telling you all the stuff that I've been laying here thinking about when I have my flares, and it's just all piling out.
Like, they were donating. There's like exchangements of like relations between the district attorney's office and the oil company. And I bet you we could find that in the Idaho 4 case.
Yes.
It's like these powerful entities, if they're involved
in the Idaho
big
4 case, it would be the educational, the college. So
cases or crimes, like, they have the power. Just follow the money. Like, I think we're all pretty intelligent at this point to know.
And that's what I think when I think about politics now. I'm just so fed up with politics, because they've created a world where they have done Democrats versus Republicans, when what it really should be is us, the regular Joe Schmoes, against the elite. That's what it really is. But they've created a war between us little ones down here, and the people are fighting it tooth and nail, while the people up there are just like plotting their next moves.
For example, where I grew up, like, there's this mall, and it's like they spent all this money into building this mall, and there's a lot of crime that occurs there, but the local media keeps it hush hush because they want, people to shop there. They want money. Mm-hmm. So when this happened with the oil industry, they didn't want this going to trial.
Oh, Valerie.
And same with Idaho 4, the two universities. Some of these Koberger working for one of them. Like, they don't want their names dragged through a trial. Like, no, shut it down with a plea deal, and we'll redact everything we need to redact, and we'll make sure that they follow this one narrative. And that's what we're always going to perpetuate over and over. 7 years we've seen it in the Watts case. They perpetuate the same thing. Nicole didn't know she was married, or that she was pregnant, even though we know she's looking up her Facebook. It was blatantly public that Shanann was pregnant during the times that we know that she was looking up Shanann. Yeah, it just comes down from the very top where the money is. Exactly. And the district attorneys who don't have the spines to say to these defendants, you need to give us, what the motive, like, explain to us what you did so that we can match your account to the evidence that we know.
Yeah.
Like, why they did that.
Give us a reason not to give you the death penalty other than I did it. Give us more.
In the Watts case, months after the plea deal was signed, is bizarre. It's bizarre. Yes, Tiny Ghost. Nicole was stalking her Facebook. And I had some comment the other day looking up somebody one time on the internet is not stalking. And I said, it's cyber stalking. And I said, you know that Nicole Kessinger looked her up more than once? She looked her up twice before she ever even worked with Chris.
And that's just what we got. We know that they erased a lot of stuff. So that's just the two that they found. You know there was more. You know there was more. When there was smoke, there was fire.
And
I believe that she was part of the Thanksgiving deal where, somebody was making dirty faces. I think she was starting to go into Shanann's live streams and had been in her live streams for a while.
Looked up Chris a whole year before the crimes. Then she looked up Shanann twice before ever working with Chris. And then she looked her up the night that they had their little love-making session. Remember when she was searching 3 ways in preparation for, know?
It is. But somehow our little Nikki Poo walked on water with the police. She just could do no wrong. And everything she said, they bought.
She looked her up that night. And then as soon as the case broke, she was looking up Shanann's Facebook and news articles. I mean, and you know what else I love too? People who try to defend Nicole Kessinger's phone pinging in Frederick that morning. Okay, she never made those phone calls where she pinged in the morning in Frederick. And people who say, oh, she was that's one of the routes on the way to work. First off, that is not the direct route to get from her apartment to Anadarko. Second off, we have no history of her ever pinging in Frederick in the morning before. Thirdly,
I mean, what an amazing coincidence was it that the night or morning that Shanann, a pregnant woman, and her 2 children are unalived by somebody's boyfriend who you've been having a hot, intense affair with, and you take that route. I mean, that's just one of the coincidences, the quinkydinks in this whole case. So that's just one.
You say the argument of, well, I just think that maybe she was going to drive by the house to see if Chris was going to tell her that things were over between them. And so I think that Nicole pinged in Frederick that morning because she was just seeing, if Shanann had gotten home, if they were really going to get, if the house was really putting up for sale. Doesn't matter, like, the reason why you think she drove by the house, like, that's still concerning. She's an outlier to this family. That's not an argument to paint Nicole Kessinger as more innocent in all this. Oh, she just wanted to drive by and see if they were really putting the house up for sale and if he was really going to tell her that things were done. Like, no, even if that's true, like, that's crazy sounding. And for it to happen, she got home at 1:48 in the morning. The ping happened at 6 in the morning. It wasn't even like it happened later in the day. Like, that's for her to be, and mind you, we don't have a clock.
And there was all that weird stuff about the clocking in, coming in sick, calling in sick, going home sick. It's just,
time. So show me that she clocks in around 7:30 or however many.
That woman was a creature of habit. I guarantee you she was a creature of habit. And then all of a sudden, all this weirdness on that day, morning, and thereafter.
Minutes it takes for her to get to her apartment in Anadarko. You can't.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, NK knew what's up. She knew everything. She knew everything, and yet she still pursued it. I just think there's so much more to all this. Yeah, the realtors are going to come at 5 a.m. Yeah, they're going to put the sign in the in the yard that early. It's not good. It's not a good look. Like, no matter what excuse you try to make, it doesn't look good. Oh, she was driving that way to her job in the morning. We don't have her clock in time. We don't even have her attempting to lie about a clock in time. Like, she attempted to lie in other things, like how many times she'd been in Shanann's car, how many times she'd been to the residence. There were other things she tried to lie about and then, like, changed her statements on in later interviews. But she never changed. She never tried to present like a clock in time or any mention of when she got to work. Yeah, it's just, another coincidence.
Yeah, that
we have
wasn't
no record of
important.
that.
When in any other crime, they would want to know where the mistress was. They would want to know minute by minute what. Yeah, and all these, like, this weirdness on the morning of is just like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going. I am one of my crypto animals that I like to talk about is the Bigfoot. Shannon and I talk about him quite a bit on Highly Strange Days. I've gone out with a Bigfoot investigator in the green swamps of Florida and did some investigation. Shannon's aunt and uncle claim they had a Bigfoot in their area in Michigan, where I'm from. And this guy talks a lot about Bigfoot, but he actually goes into the Watts case. Now, I did watch this. I was like so excited when I saw it. He does get a lot wrong, and I did make a comment down here. Is my comment still here? Yeah. Here's my comment. I said, "Welcome to Watts Island." Well, I won't read. I'll read it afterwards because I'll give away what he got right and wrong, and I don't really want to do that. I want you guys to see it, and then we can talk about it together. Here we go.
Context is required. Family annihilator Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife and then put her body into the bed of his truck as his two daughters, Bella and Cece, watched. He then situated Bella and Cece into the back seat and drove them to a remote stretch of desert that he was familiar with due to his employment with Anadarko
Have
Petroleum.
any of you guys watched his channel before? I love his voice. I love his voice. It's a great voice to listen to at night when you want to drift off to sleep.
He unloaded his deceased wife as his daughters remained in the cab. Shannon's body would not fit through the small opening to the oil tank, so Chris dug a shallow grave, and Bella and Cece watched their father bury their mother and unborn brother, who was to be named Nico Lee. He then smothered Cece with a blanket in the back seat. Bella was right beside her, and she didn't really know what was going on. Family annihilator Chris Watts then shoved Cece's body into the oil tank, and then he returned to the truck, where Bella asked if he was going to do the same thing to her as he had just done to Cece, and he didn't answer her, he just did it. After disposing of his family, Chris went to work, but his wife Shannon was supposed to be driven to a doctor's appointment.
He's been on Joe Rogan before, this guy.
By her neighbor Nicole Atkinson. When Nicole couldn't get a hold of Shannon, she called Chris Watts. Not satisfied with his response, Nicole called the police for a welfare check. And once the police called Chris, he was suddenly concerned.
Yes, he gets some of the details wrong, but this is the way I think about it. And I did correct some of them down in his comments, but this is the way I think about it. Like, not everybody can be expected to know every detail, like those of us that regularly boat on over to Watts Island. So I am a little forgiving on those people that I guess those content creators that I actually like. So yeah, he gets some things wrong. So good catch there.
But not concerned enough to allow the responding officer access to his house without being there himself, which likely would have been a red flag, considering that his pregnant wife already had health concerns, had missed an appointment, and could not be reached. When he finally arrived home, he conspicuously entered through the garage, leaving Nicole and the police officer to wait for nearly 2 minutes before he opened the front door. After searching the Watts house and discovering Shannon's medication and cell phone, Nicole Atkinson invited Watts and the responding officer to the home she shared with Nathan Trinistich to watch their security footage.
She got that wrong. He got that wrong too, because Nicole didn't live next door. She didn't share the next door.
Which, unbeknownst to Chris, had a view of his driveway. Based on Chris's body language while watching the footage, it is safe to assume that he thought it was over then and there, seeing as he knew that he'd been recorded loading his family into
I think he thought it was over a few times. I think the first time he thought it was over was upstairs when they were all standing around Shannon's phone, remember? And then all of a sudden the police officer hit his thing and he did some kind of call into the department, and Chris Watts looked like he dropped a load. He turned around and looked like he literally dropped a load. So there was a few times.
truck as if they were produce, and had this been noticed, he certainly would have been arrested. However, Chris had kept to the side of the truck opposite to the camera. What was obvious to him was not obvious to the observers, and despite his anxieties, the footage appears innocuous to those without the gift of hindsight. Ironically, it was Chris's response to the footage that was almost as damning as had it showed what he feared it did. Strange to think that Nicole Atkinson and Nathan Trinistich are likely already aware that the man in their living room just murdered the entirety of his family.
Oh, I think Nate for sure was aware. I think Nicole, because she knew him better than Nate did, I think she was just praying that she was wrong, but I'm sure they were all getting those vibes. And I think maybe well, of course, I can tell her son had the vibes too. So about the only one that wasn't getting the vibes was the little girl, and she was in the playroom and she was too young to get vibes probably, but she probably didn't want to be near him either.
Okay, that was all context. However, this video is not about the crimes of Chris Watts, nor is it about his catastrophically deficient attempt to conceal them, for that is the realm of true crime, which this channel is not, and Chris Watts' content is cornucopian in magnitude. This video is about the alleged paranormal events related to the Watts murders, and even the most strict skeptic must concede that chance alone seems insufficient in describing some of the aberrations that occur here, the first of which occurs immediately where I left off. You're about to see, in my opinion, one of the most incredible moments ever caught on body cam. It is so awe-inspiring and magnificent that no genre exists to adequately classify it.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15 weeks.
The app that Nathan Trinistich is using to show his security footage crashes, and up comes a commercial for a National Geographic program. And you can see how badly Chris...
So it actually was American Horror Story that popped up, but I have done paranormal for a while, and I know that one of the ways that they use to communicate is through electronics. So I don't find, I mean, it is, to me, this is a great piece of paranormal whatever, because I believe Shanann was communicating right there. I really do. What do you guys think? Because, I mean, that's another coincidence that just pops up into this story of ours. So he goes into that, and then he goes forward and he goes out to the oil field.
The opening of which was too small for them to fit comfortably. But you were unaware that your wife had a doctor's appointment. The time you had allotted to come up with a story and clean up is gone. And a mere 6 or 7 hours after doing the abominable deed, with 0 hours of sleep, you find yourself watching a police officer who is watching footage of you load your family into your truck as if they're bags of junk bound for Goodwill. Then the app crashes, offering a brief respite from the terror you've put yourself in. Except there's no respite at all, because it's showing your deed in a far more dramatic way. A fetus and a human skull disintegrating into a pit of petrol. Objectively speaking, of course, this is just a coincidence. But how do I phrase this? I feel like if I looked through TV programming for 100 years straight, I would not have been able to find a more perfect and fitting 9.7 seconds of footage to show Chris Watts at that exact moment in time.
I think that is just an amazing point. Okay, let's keep going.
Agent Tammy Lee, and while he's busy battering away at his own coffin nails, his house is searched. And the very first bit of alleged paranormal evidence can be seen nearly as soon as the searchers enter the house. It smells like cleaning. Pro tip: you know you're cooked when the canine searcher thinks you're guilty in the first 13 seconds. Now, you probably didn't see it, and I'll be honest, I don't really see it either. But many viewers claim to see what looks like a child looking through the balusters. I see something, but I don't know. Considering the...
I think that it's our mind, it's a mind matrix type of thing. Our minds are always programmed to make sense out of what we're seeing. Usually our minds usually program directly into trying to make a face out of something. And so it's just I think it's the banister and the reflection, and our minds are trained to make form out of shape, out of nothing. And that's what people, I believe that's what's happening.
Context of the situation and the nature of this video, I would be remiss to...
Right there. It's just, and there's a picture or a mirror back there. So we've got a reflection reflecting back, and we've got the sides of the banister right here. These, what are those called? rungs or whatever.
Not mention it.
What
If
if I had a great cousin that when they were little, you know, this would have been like probably in the 50s or 60s, they put their head through a banister and hung themselves. It was horrible. I remember my being told when I was like 10 or 11, I'm a Gen Xer, so they would tell us these crazy things like, don't put your head through there because, and then I got the story why, which terrified me forever. So, but yeah, that's how I learned that story.
literally anything to the archaic phenomena known as ghosts, a notion that very well may predate humanity itself, then this place is certainly a premium candidate to host them, and this assertion is supported when the crew searches Shanann's walk-in closet. And I'll have you know that...
Okay, so I'm just going to go up to, this is the walk-in closet where there's the giggles.
Go in there and step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It sort of sounds like it.
Something. I heard it.
Did you hear it?
I did.
Sounded like a kid giggling or something, didn't it? Or a kid.
It did.
Because all he did was go straight in there.
It sounds like the elder of the two women is legit.
That pink closet is just too much. That, ugh. Anyway, it's the, we've done a video on it before. It's actually dolls. And there was another channel that did it where they even found the dolls from Toys R Us. Shanann would buy dolls and put them in the closet and hide it away from the girls for little gifties. What I find the paranormal irony is that the mistress would call Chris Watts and giggle just like that, just like those dolls. That's the paranormal in that, I feel. But let's keep going.
To be honest.
Okay, this kind of with EVPs, I don't like when they put the words up on the screen because again, it makes sure then you hear it. So let's go back. I do hear I'm with Cece, but darn it, if that didn't sound like Chris's voice.
There's plenty of her sender here. There's plenty of her sender here. There's plenty of her sender here.
I don't hear the mom so much. It can easily be like movement in the officer's vest or something like that. So I don't hear mom at all.
I don't care how rational or empirical you are. This next one is pretty chilling.
I do hear I'm with Cece.
Any guesses?
Do you guys hear I'm with Cece? And it actually sounds like a male voice, which is interesting. I wonder, well, I mean, they do have, I know Sandy talked about her mom and dad quite a bit. And so there could be a grandparent that was with him with saying I'm with Cece. No, I don't hear this is our home. I think that is a movement because we hear she's moving her hand up. And so I think it's just movement in her shirt.
To be honest, these were more otherworldly than I was expecting, but I'm a person who talks to myself, especially when I'm working, and especially when I'm working with my animal, which of course is precisely what the searchers were doing. So no matter how authentically ethereal these captures may sound, there is no pragmatic reason to suspect that they are anything other than the searchers' murmurings. But the high strangeness here is not confined to cryptic camera captures.
But why would the searcher murmur I'm with Cece? I don't really think that. I think it could be just like movement on their body or even the dogs moving around.
of audio and visual. On September 21st of 2018, 39 days after the annihilation and 37 days after Chris Watts' cringy confession and most deserved arrest, Fredericksburg police receive a call from Shanann's mother, who said she received a text from an unknown number. The text, weirdly enough, said that the back door to her deceased daughter's home was open. And weirdly enough again,
It's very strange that it was an unknown caller, unless they switched it to unknown caller, because it seems like it would have been Nate or somebody. But maybe it was just a neighborhood person that just didn't want to be dragged into this mess, too. It could be something like that.
whoever texted her that wouldn't respond. Now, body cam footage of this was not released, but police went to the house in the light of day, and they found the back storm door open, but the actual door that admits entry was locked. Stranger yet, it's mentioned in the Weld County DA office's discovery documents that the lights in the garage were not on when police arrived, but turned on at some point while they were checking the perimeter. On this occasion, the police didn't enter the house or attached garage, claiming they had no reason to suspect anyone was inside, which is odd considering that they saw a light turn on while they were literally...
Which is odd. Isn't it funny how there's a lot of this, which is odd that the police didn't go in and do their job to, like, the light wasn't on and now it's on. I mean, it's odd. Or is it really odd? Is it another cover up? Could it be another cover up?
there, but maybe it was motion activated, and the person who texted Shanann's mother with that condescending tidbit was never identified. And seriously, what is up with that? Sandra Ruchek had just lost her daughter and 3 grandchildren a month ago, and someone wants to tell her that the storm door is open on the house, which, by the way, is not something anyone should know unless they're up to no good. Oh, that wasn't the end of the strangeness in September.
To me, it seems like they probably saw that this case was getting a lot of play and they didn't want to be identified. But I mean, they could have responded in that manner and been like, I just don't want to be part of this. I just thought you should know, you know, because it could have just been somebody. There's a lot of people. There was a playground and a walkway behind the house. So it could just be somebody out walking their dog or playing with their kid.
September 21st, for police would return that night. See, Nathaniel Trinistich called Shanann's father to tell him that his security footage captured video of a shadowy woman entering the...
It is kind of weird that this was the September woman night. So that day, they get the storm door is open, but I think there was a lock from the inside of, like, they probably had one of those bars, and so they probably couldn't get in. They probably tried to get in, but... or maybe they did get in and then they got home and said, oh, shoot, I forgot something. And they went back that night, right? Because they got caught in the morning or something.
Watts residence at 9 a.m. and never leaving. I want to mention this because so many channels here on YouTube get this wrong. They say that Nate saw or recorded the woman enter the house that night. But I read the discovery documents, and that's not what happened. Nate didn't get a chance to look at his security footage until that night. The footage of the woman entering the house is from around 9 a.m., and that security cam footage was never released. Also noted was that a black SUV slowly passed the house several times throughout the day, but never stopped, and no one was ever seen entering or exiting the vehicle, so it's unknown if it's related to the shadowy woman, the woman with dark hair. So many questions. So many questions. Why text someone that a storm door is open? Some people have suggested that it was just a friend of Shanann's, who stopped over, found the door open, then locked it and left. Okay, but then why would she text at all? And why wouldn't she respond to follow-up texts? Is the dark-haired woman caught on Nate Trinistich's security cam footage even the same person who texted Shanann's mother? That would make some sense if the person lived on Mars and didn't know what happened to the Watts family. But if he or she didn't know, then why would they text the mom and not Shanann directly? Some people say it was a realtor or a bank agent or something. Okay, but then why wouldn't they respond to Shanann's mother? And why would they say anything at all? The door's open, you can lock it from the inside and leave. Some people think the dark-haired woman must have been Nicole Kessinger, Chris's mistress, not to be confused with Nicole Atkinson. Maybe, but Kessinger was trying to distance herself as far from Chris as possible, and the house had already been searched and processed a million times.
She was trying to distance herself, but I believe she had left some stuff in the house and she needed that stuff out. So, yeah, I think this dark-haired woman, in my opinion, and, you know, it's never been proven, just in my opinion, that, it was her. Or she was sending someone in there to get something for her.
Times. So it's not like she was trying to retrieve incriminating evidence or something. And still, if she was trying to be clandestine, why would she text the victim's mother? It's all very, very strange.
I think it's two separate people. I think that our Nicole Kessinger went into the house and probably left the screen door open or whatever. Somebody was walking by the house and didn't want to get involved into this mess because this is, like a mess. Everybody that got involved got investigated, dragged through the mud. I mean, right down to the little 13-year-old babysitter, right? Everybody got looked at. And so if you were a smart person, you wouldn't, you would just, but a kind person would have replied and been like, yeah, I walked by and I saw it open or something, right? But people are people. I'm somebody who overthinks. Like my when I had my stroke and I lost some words and stuff, and I had to go to speech therapy, she called me an executive thinker. Like I've got a plan B, C, D if I can't, because the way I grew up with a mother that you had to think 5 steps ahead because you would plan something out and have it all planned out, and she would ask you the most obscure question. Well, did you do this? What? No, I absolutely didn't. So, your mind as a kid, you start trying to figure it all out beforehand. And so that's the way I try to have it all planned out. But not everybody's like that. And I'm starting to try to realize that.
Anyhow, after Nate found the footage of the woman with dark hair entering the house, he called Shanann's father, who called the police, and he gave the police the house's access code. Seeing as now they had strong reason to suggest that someone had entered the house, they went inside, whereas that morning...
Well, I mean, they really kind of had to at this point, didn't they? I mean, now there was a little bit more and they just had to go in. Because, I mean, it's all being released to the public and they knew this about the case.
Merely made sure the area was secure. Yet another anomaly is that the police triggered the house's security system in the garage. Yet Shanann's father, who was the last person in the house, was quite certain that he did not engage the security system when he was there last, and I don't blame him. Nothing there was worth protecting anymore. But that begs the question, what kind of intruder would activate the security system? When the police arrived, the garage lights were on. Ostensibly, they'd been on ever since they turned on the last time the police were there. And to me, this rules out some kind of motion sensing device. If they turn on by motion, then they turn off automatically. So who turns lights on in a house they weren't supposed to be in, as police were actively searching the perimeter?
And who puts on the motion detect on the, yeah, I don't get that one. What do you guys think? Who do you think it was?
And if someone was in the house who wasn't supposed to be, why would they text Shanann's mother to tell her that they could get in? Who would anonymously text a grieving mother to tell her that her deceased daughter's storm door is open, and then not respond to further follow-up? Did whoever it was mean that the back door was open, and then he or she locked it themselves? And who was the shadowy woman captured entering the house, and how and why was she never captured leaving? Well, these are only a few reasons that may explain why the 5 police officers are a bit jumpy as they make entry at 11 Friday, September 21st of 2018. Now this footage, too, is rife with alleged...
It's a little insane that it took all that for him to get them to finally go into the house. I mean, I guess it's not insane because the police acted insane in this case, but still.
EVPs. But in my opinion, it's just the officers talking to each other from far away or talking to themselves.
So we're going to stop that there. We're not going to watch everything in its entirety, but I will put the link down, like I said, and you can go and watch it. So some of the things I want to watch next are old things, but they're things that I've never seen before. And so I just wanted to throw it in because I thought this was interesting. I like Christina Randall. She's one of my favorite prison content creators, and she was talking about Chris Watts super fans or scammers and claims NK was pregnant. So I've never seen this video, I don't think. So I wanted to show you on Bob's my comment really quick. So I put down in the comments let me make sure. Welcome to Watts Island. It was an American Horror Story commercial that popped up. It's a giggling doll in the closet. Shanann often bought little prezzies for the girls and stuffed them away for later. There's a video out there that even shows which dolls they were. The weird part is the girlfriend left voice messages with the exact same giggle. There is no Miller explanation. It's just weird. Oh, somebody replied. I guess I'll reply to that later. Okay, guys. So let's keep going. Let's go over to this Christina Randall, but let me come over into comments and see what you guys are saying. Moira says, sorry, folks, got to go. Not very well. Oh, I hope you feel better, Moira. It's okay stuffing your face. You're out on the road. Was Shanann's body removed from property out the back and transported via another vehicle? I don't know. I can't see how he could have got her body out and stuffed it into the back of the truck right in front of those cameras. He was putting something in the back seat, and I believe Bella ran out and he put Bella and the girls back there. I don't know. We talked about this one night, possibly him taking them out that window where that if Shanann if I don't know if he had help somehow got her out that window in the basement where the Mickey Mouse doll was, or out the back sliding door. I really don't know how he did that. We've looked at the video with him going back and forth to the truck, and I think it's very strange that he changed from boots to sneakers, or from sneakers to boots. That's weird. And the gait's different, and to me one looks more feminine than the other. But to me also, he was getting a very feminine body. I think he was wearing a waist cincher, and he was getting a feminine body to me. That's just my opinion. But so I don't know. What do you guys think?
This video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for her. We would love it if you would subscribe, turn on.
Let's move forward to where she starts.
So the first clips that you guys will hear today will be from the people who claimed to be NK's cousin and family.
I am Nicole Kessinger's cousin. My mother made a YouTube video. She made one without anyone really knowing she was going to do it. So, and now people know about it. We've already moved, changed our names.
Did this cousin ever turn out to be fake? I know there were so many people that came forward that were deemed as being fake. Does anyone know? Did these cousins get debunked, or is it true?
We've moved 6 times in a year because of the harassment from people saying that Nicole helped Chris Watts, from people who just want to know this case, who want to meet people, whatever. Okay? Nicole didn't kill anyone. Chris Watts, and Chris Watts alone, murdered his family. Chris Watts didn't have help. He didn't have encouragement. And we got his law. He's got lawyers. He had lawyers before. They could kept contacting everybody, because he wants to talk to Nikki about the baby, okay? The reason that Chris Watts agreed to do a book with Cheryl is because Cheryl was supposed to give money to Nicole. Cheryl never gave any money to Nicole or my mom or anything like that.
All right, this sounds like it's very untrue to me. This sounds very untrue, because now but Sherilyn Cato, she's a big problem in our community. Well, yeah, I think she's her first book was removed. We should say that, for plagiarism. She has said that there were charges coming against NK, and that never happened. So, I mean,
because she got sued for plagiarism. Cheryl contacted Chris for a second book and, said she would give the money to Nicole. Chris said no, because she didn't give the money to Nicole because of what happened before, and she lied or plagiarized the book.
Crazy thing is, some of the stuff these people say, and you're going to hear in this video, sounds like it could be true. That's like the weirdest thing of it all. And it's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, it did sound like there was a with Cheryl and Cato with the plagiarism, and she did try to come and do. I mean, she did do another book, right? Hasn't she done a few more books, like more than one?
So many people.
Well, I know. I mean, after the plagiarism one, I think then she did another book, but then didn't she do a book after that?
We're watching it, and these types of videos got so many views. But carry on.
Chris Watts himself has written us and told us he doesn't know why he killed his family. He says that he was possessed by a demon from the house. He says that
she's saying Chris Watts is not only writing to Nicole, but he's writing to Nicole's cousin and aunt.
The Thrive patches were making him think like demonic thoughts. Chris killed his family because he's a sick.
Oh, I've made some Thrive people angry by implying that the Thrive patches had something to do with it. Some of the shiners don't like that are on Thrive, but I do think that the Thrive patches, and I believe he was on other medication, and I think that it had a impact, because he was taking something that if I just take a little bit of it, it makes me anxious and quite aggressive, actually. And you can tell Chris had anxiety. My BA is in psych soc, and I don't diagnose people, but just looking at him, I can see he has anxiety. I mean, and so I'm sure tripling those patches weren't helping. It was increasing his anxiety, and he wasn't getting much sleep, and not getting sleep actually can throw you into a psychosis too. He wasn't in his right mind, obviously, but you have to be a certain kind of evil to be drawn to, go down that road anyway, in my opinion.
That's the reason he killed his family. It could have easily been Nikki. Well, what do you think would have happened if the plan would have worked? He would have killed her too. He took his bodies to the job, okay? He took the bodies to Anadarko. How fucking dumb can he get? He wanted to get caught. He was going to be killing. In fact, Nikki turned him in. She called the police when she seen the interview, because she said he looked like a fucking serial killer, okay? And she thought, what if he was a serial killer? Because there was a woman missing from Brighton,
Was there a woman missing from Brighton? Was there a woman missing from Brighton? Let me Google that while it continues to play.
But the Kessinger family did not kill anyone.
Oh.
Christopher Watts killed. That's it. We have...
Is she talking about that other pregnant lady that was missing? No, or was that a pregnant lady that was spotted at Walmart that they thought could have been Shanann? I don't know.
Oh, and the Watts, they'll keep reaching out because of the baby. We don't want their help. We don't want anything to do with them. Nicole has been on drugs, and Nicole has burglarized my mother's home 2 times now for drugs. Nicole doesn't have any money. Nicole can't get a job because of this shit. And the only thing Nicole did wrong, she had an affair with a man that was married. Nicole was not a married woman. He was a married man. That's that. He was saying he was going to leave his wife. They were separated. He said they didn't even sleep in the same rooms.
All right, so I won't bore you with any more of that one. This next guy, this one actually kind of fooled me too, and I felt really bad for the YouTube channel that had him on, because they believed it too, and they felt...
Sorry, I was Googling to see if there was any missing woman in Brighton, and it says no, there's no evidence of a missing woman in Brighton, Colorado. at the same time as the Chris Watts case in August 2018. The incident you might be thinking of involved a different Brighton. Oh, you know what? Yes, because I heard this. Actually, this is coming back to me. I heard this word Brighton, and there's a Brighton, Michigan, and I was like, is this case going to get connected to Michigan? Because I have this 5 degrees of Michigan theory, like 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and every crazy case can be attached back to Chris Watts. And I thought actually this was the attachment, but I must have to dig deeper to find it. But a missing woman in Brighton, like the Chris Watts case occurred in August 2018 in Frederick, Colorado, which is near Brighton. A missing woman in Brighton, England in December 2018. Yeah, must have been Brighton, England that I heard about. But anyway, okay. Let's get back to this.
So horrible. This guy deserves a literal Oscar for his acting.
I mean, I'll tell you this, Chris was an awesome guy, man. He was, he was, and that's what makes it hard, because I feel like not only did we lose Shanann and the girls, but I lost my buddy.
Okay, so there was a pregnant woman that came up unalived. Okay, yeah. All right.
I mean, because the Chris I knew is not the Chris that is sitting in prison right now. So to me, Chris died. Because I don't want to get teary-eyed, but I spent a good amount of close to 2 years with him every day. Riding the same truck with him, out on the job site with him, and she hit like on every guy that worked, and I guess Chris just fell prey to it. Actually, because I even heard that she had Googled Shanann like back in 2017.
Yes.
That was always weird to me. Like how the hell did she know to Google Shanann back in 2017? But then I had spoke with Sandy, and she said that something about one time they was at a lupus doctor, and just so happened that I guess Nicole was up there, like at the same doctor.
Yes.
And yeah, there was a couple guys at work like that. I thought she'd get her claws on, but it ended up being my buddy Chris, man. And oh yeah, I still write him.
I need to screech here for a second and ask Anders a question. Anders says Chris Watts used to send pictures of a scrotum to Nicole Kessinger's calculator app. How do we know that? Just out of curiosity. Because I've never seen the pictures that Chris Watts sent, just Nicole Kessinger's pictures. Is this one of those things that a creator was sent these pictures or something that that hasn't been released, but somebody has been sent these pictures? Because I've heard some creators say that they have proof that NA or NK did it, but they can't release it, which irritates me, because then why are we talking about it?
I mean, I know I take a lot of shit for it. I take a lot of shit for it, but
Next donor?
I can't just turn it off, man. He was my friend.
It just makes me feel like I want to know, and I get why we're talking about it, because why do I talk about some of the stuff I talk about? But really, I think that it's like gatekeeping information, and that irritates me.
For 2 years, like I tell people, like, the Chris I knew died, but the Chris I knew died, but he was like I'm getting a little teary-eyed.
Find her app. Where was her app? Can you look up the calculator app and see the pictures that people save on their calculator app?
He was he was like the perfect father, the perfect husband. Never heard him raise his voice. He would cuss every now and again, like only around the guys. He was so calm. He was so good with the kids, so good with my kids. He was like the model citizen. I'd always laugh at him because he would be walking the girls around in the wagon, and he would walk for hours and hours around the neighborhood. I live on Steeple Rock, and so I'd always see him, and me and my kids would go walking or whatever, and we'd see Chris every day after work. And we work, sometimes 12 hours a day, sometimes 14-hour days, but he would get home, he would have the girls, and he would pull them in the wagon, and they'd be laughing and joking. And trust me when I tell you, he was a great father. Like honestly, this like from what I've seen on Nicole's desk and things like that, I kind of think she was like a devil worshiper. I don't know why I say that, but
Now, this goes on and on and on, you guys. This man literally got up on here on YouTube, gave an interview for well over an hour, and gave all kind of very intimate details to make it seem like him and Chris were really good friends, and he lived right down the road from him. And his wife and Chris Watts' wife, Shanann, were like really good friends. They'd go get their nails done together. And Chris came over to his house and helped him change his transmission in his car. And he knew Nicole, and they worked together at Anadarko. And like it's just, it shed tears over it and everything. Like these people, like what is going on? It's insane.
I'm telling you, like the stuff she had on her desk, she had this thing on her desk called a, oh shit, I forget the name of it. I looked it up. It was called Necronomicon. And when I looked it up, it's a satanic Bible. It just stayed on her desk, like from the time she was there to the time she was
I'm sure. Right.
Yes.
Oh, I knew it.
You know, it's set in the corner. It's set in the corner of her desk, and it had like a pentagram on it with like some devil horns and it's Necronomicon. So after the fact of all the thing happened,
Right. She had that sitting right out on her desk at an oil company, I'm sure.
like and I told my wife about it. So we Googled it, and it was like pretty much saying it's a satanic Bible. On her desk was full of like quartz crystals, like different quartz crystals. I guess is that what they're called, quartz crystals? Yeah, her desk.
Maybe crystals because she's a geologist, but I doubt she had a satanic Bible sitting next to her crystals on her desk.
But see, I just took that as like
small town. Right. One time when I was living in a small town, I had a necklace that I got from a Renaissance fair that had a moon on it, and I was asked if I was a witch. So I really don't think she had a satanic Bible sitting out on her desk next to her crystals.
She was a geologist, so I thought, okay, that's just her hobby. But then I kind of found out that quartz crystals kind of like you use them for spells, and like that's what I've read so far. But so that's what made me think that she's kind of a Satan worshiper. And
yes, it's Christina Randall. So let's move on. Hold on, I think I'm gonna sneeze though. Hold on a second. Excuse me. Okay, let's keep going. I wanted to look at some articles. This was an article that came out on People magazine on August 13th. It really just talks about the case, and Chris Watts was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. It's what is his life like 7 years later? It's all the same, but I thought we'd take a look at, they talk about what was he convicted of and what the story was about. And but at the end it says, where is Chris Watts now? Although Chris was convicted and sentenced in Colorado, he was transferred in December 2018 to Dodge Correctional Institution, a maximum security prison located in Waupun, Wisconsin. KKTV reported at the time that the move was due to security reasons. While incarcerated, Chris has received 2 conduct reports. A spokesperson for Dodge told People one was in 2020 for unauthorized forms of communication and unauthorized transfer of property. It sounds like he had a phone, right? And it also sounds like when he gave his undies and his Vaseline away. And the other was in 2021 for disobeying orders and possession of miscellaneous contraband. So I don't know. I don't remember the disobeying order one. Was that the one where he had the panties? He told the person to send the panties. In 2019, People reported that Chris kept photos of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste in his cell. Outrage ensued, leading to an online petition that garnered more than 20,000 signatures, imploring officials to remove the photos. But the campaign was unsuccessful, with the Department of Corrections claiming there was no legal basis for removal. I just don't think he should be allowed to do that. Also don't think he should be allowed to remarry. I think he ended his one wife's life. He should be done with the wives. But maybe he could have a husband. No, just kidding. No. keep the men safe too. Keep the men safe too. In addition to exercising and working as a custodian, Chris has corresponded with multiple women during his incarceration. They said they send sexy pictures and he responds. The source told People in November 2022, there are a lot of women who think he's handsome and misunderstood. They send a lot of letters. The source continued, he's got nothing else to do, said the source. There's a lot of like the source. Drink every time they say source. So he feeds his ego in that way because he's not popular at all in prison. He's in protective custody. The only outlet he has is with the letters. Okay, let's keep going. I thought this was interesting. I follow Nicole Atkinson over on Facebook, and she is getting, hold on, it says my browser lost connection. So let me reset my browser. So to make sure, I don't know. Sometimes it tells me it lost connection and it didn't, but I don't want to risk it. Over on YouTube, over on Facebook, see, that's my, when I get these flares, I'll be thinking the right word, but the wrong word will just come flying out of my mouth, and or I can't remember words. So she's getting rid of her hat post. I think it's per hat. It's $20. Nicole is no longer selling her Thrive products, which I'm happy about. I feel like she's woken up to it, but she is getting rid of, she has said she, she's still, I mean, she's not against Thrive. She's just not with them anymore. That's her statement, but she's getting rid of her Thrive hats, which, I mean, maybe she sees that we don't need those Thrive hats anymore. Continuing over on Facebook, I see in True Crime Mysteries, Morbid Events, and More, they're talking about Chris Watts. I thought we'd go through it. Somebody came through and asked if there were any Chris Watts updates. This was posted September 1st at 3 a.m. Still nothing, still rotting in prison, somebody says, even though he should be in hell. How women are attracted to him is beyond me. How can any woman look at what he did, hearing that his daughter begged for her life and go on? I know, how can any woman be attracted to him knowing that Bella begged for her life and he still did it? I seriously hope prison justice is served soon. I don't think, like, listening to Jumpsuit Pablo, I don't think there is very much prison justice in that sense anymore. I think it's just, more threats and living in shadows of being a little man and being the low man on the totem pole. And yeah, I don't think Chris Watts will see prison justice in that way. That what people mean by prison justice. So people are just saying still serving his life sentence. Some person living in Iraq is asking who Chris Watts is. Sitting in sentence at Wisconsin State Prison. Don't ever mention that name. He also has 2 disciplinary violations for contraband, disobeying orders, just like what we just said. Still breathing. They shouldn't question the death penalty, especially after not only one person who was a child, but also 3 people. I know, like, what is the death penalty for if it's not for Chris Watts's crime? Last that I saw on a court update was that he said his girlfriend had played a part in it, said the girls needed to go to. I'm going to have to put a Lizzie Lee comment in here probably. He was in trouble due to having contraband found in a cell, lube, and underwear. He needs death. His name should never be mentioned. He has a release date of October 2027. It's good to see that the trolls are, or yeah, it's kind of troll, but it's funny trolling. Did anyone fall for it? Yeah. What? See? Why do you fall for it? A YouTuber I enjoy said Watts thinks he is a changed man through God and that he truly thinks he has a chance of getting out because of this. What do you guys think? Do you think, see, the way our justice system is, I mean, will it ever get to the point where Chris Watts will get out? I mean, I talk of prison reform, but I don't think Chris Watts should ever get out. But our prisons need to be reformed. But our society always swings too far one way or the other. And I just worry that it would swing so far left that everybody eventually would get out of prison one day. You know, I worry about, I think our society is in such upheaval that you can't predict anything anymore. Everything that you think would, like, normally common sense back, you know, like how life was going, I feel like after COVID, right around COVID, it just flipped everything on its side and nothing's the same. Let's see what you guys are saying. CW said she was into dark things. I mean, a lot of those things, I mean, that those people were saying were things that Chris Watts had said, you know, like, yeah, we had pictures of Chris Watts walking the girls in those little stroller car things around the neighborhood. So we knew that. And, you know, we had Chris saying that she did dark things, but I just really don't think she had a satanic Bible sitting out on her desk. I mean, it just it goes too far. You might have had me with crystals, but you just went too far with the satanic Bible. And you know, you lost me with the satanic Bible, sir. I have never been to Croatia yet, but many people I know have been there. They liked it. I don't know. What is, oh, okay, I see up here. Hi, Vesna from Croatia. Welcome. We're getting a lot of Russian and people from that. I think it's because I turned on the Russian subtitles. I had German on for a while and I moved it to Russian. I'm not sure though. I do that from time to time. I'll change my subtitles for other countries just to test it out to see if we can get some people from other countries. Eventually, I would like to be able to have a lot of subtitles for people. Oh, thank you, Fifers. Thank you. Your support means a lot to me, and just thank you so much for that. With being a small content creator, it just helps me out a lot, especially since we are doing our new Strange Highways, where I'm going to be taking it out into the road. We're starting filming a brand new series on the Power Network called Strange Highways. It's a nod, yes, to Stephen King, but it's also a nod to our Highly Strange Days that I do on Sundays with Shannon. We're going to be hitting the road, traveling straight into the places where the crime unfolds or where the paranormal still lingers. Every stop has a story and some never rest. And I'm currently filming our first stop right here in Florida. And I'm wondering if anyone can guess. So I did give out a hint. The tragedy set into motion a law. So this is the hint: set into a law so important that many other states have followed suit. And whoever guesses is going to be rewarded with some merch. So yes, that leads us into that we have merch that has launched. And let me show you a quick peek of the merch. And anybody that's a Dragonfly is going to get a discount for merch. I just haven't set it up yet. I'm going to get that all together for you guys. So here is a quick peek of our merch. This is just a little sampling of what we have. We have things in white. We have things in black. You can change the color, and we'll just scroll through really quick. Like, this is one of my favorite, this eye. I really love the eye. And then on the back, there's things like the power. Let me make sure I'm not on the same page. Okay, yeah, you can see it. And we have these cute little hats. We have some mugs in different colors, and it's really fun because I wanted it so it was interesting. So on the inside, it's the color of the handle. There's some totes, some more of this. I have some more merch. I just haven't released it all. I have this little beanie hat, and there's some sweatshirts. So we're also going to be releasing some Strange Highways merch. And so, yeah. I'm really excited. So right now there's that contest, and getting in over on the contest, we did have some guesses already that aren't accurate. They're not the cases, but Pfeiffer, our little Dragonfly, guessed some really good ones, and one I added to the list. She asked if it was the Surfside collapse, and that's not it. And then the Parkland shooting, and that's not it. I did give her another little hint, and I said, look more along the Gulf Coast. And I'll give you another hint for everybody. So the hint is that it's a single schmurder case. It's a single schmurder case. So that's my final hint. So if you guys want to guess, the first person will get some merch. I'm also, October 18th is our channel birthday, and my birthday's in November. So I'm going to have a birthday celebration, and we'll be giving Bigfoot. No, it's not Bigfoot. It's an actual case. It's a true crime case. It's a true crime case. That's my final hint. It is an actual true crime case, although we're going to end up at the cemetery. So it will, have probably a little paranormal aspect to it, but I'll probably separate it and do like a few videos from it and do like a true crime and a paranormal video. So anyway, that's it. The first person who guesses, nope, not Kaylee Anthony. That's on my list though, for sure. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. Thank you to Wild Deodorant for being our sponsor. I love Wild Deodorant. I have tested out other sponsorships, and this is the one that I am really liking, and hence this is the one that I'm using day after day, because I am testing out other sponsorships, but I like Wild Deodorant. So thank you, Wild Deodorant. You're amazing for supporting us. And thank you to anybody that decides to support us through testing out the Wild Deodorant. You'll get a 20% discount on your first order with code ParaWomen. So, yep. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. life's getting kind of crazy out there. There's a lot of stuff. I've noticed there's a lot of activity, upswing, and people being angry right now for whatever reason. So protect your energy. You don't have to go to every argument that you're invited to, because remember, those people are trying to use your energy. Those of us with autoimmunes, we need to protect our energy. Everybody needs to protect your energy. So guard it, because it is your liquid gold. If nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you guys this. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. And thank you, Fifers, for your super support sticker. It means a lot to me. Bye, guys.
Miss McHugh, but I had you for that day. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you.
Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out.
With you tonight, and it feels fine. Feels fine. Baby, I'm dancing with you tonight. Here in the blue, I'm dancing and falling out, hoping for some time with you.